Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with Mr. D.C. Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to be part of the show with a question, comment, rant, opinion, etc., hey, you can do so and join us via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. And we'll see about getting that on the air for you. We're going to be recapping Week 5 of the high school football season. We're going to do that in just a few minutes. And then we're also going to talk with Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. Big news coming out of the campus of the University of St. Francis as there is now a successor to one Mr. Chad Lacrosse, former head men's basketball coach for the St. Francis Cougars. And Mike will tell us all about the brand new hire, who a lot of people that I've seen thus far are very, very excited about. So should be interesting there. Also, the Cougars were big winners at Lawrence Tech last week, and we'll talk to Mike about that too. Week 5 of the high school football season, my goodness, Justin Kenny will be along just a few moments or so. Until then, though, I do, at this point in time, want to let you know about what our local Major League Baseball players are doing. We got a couple in the Major Leagues right now, and one being Mr. Zach McKinstry of the Detroit Tigers. He was 0 for 3 last night. He played third base, second base, and D.C. Hendricks. Zach pitched last night.
I didn't see that.
For the Detroit Tigers, they lost to the Braves 10-1. However, he pitched the last third of an inning. He pitched to one hitter. I don't know who the hitter was, but he threw 2 pitches. One of them was a strike and was unblemished. Perfect third of an inning. So a 0.00 ERA, 0.00 whip, and unhittable. Just unhittable. So, at this juncture of the season, McKinstry's batting .256, 11 home runs, 48 RBI, 19 stolen bases, and I've said all season long while playing every position this season now except for, catcher and center field. So congratulations to Zach McKinstry, just showing that as versatile as he's shown in the last couple of, his entire major league career. There again, the guy can throw the baseball, too. Andrew Salfrank, former Heritage Patriot who's appeared in 25 games with the Arizona Diamondbacks, now has a record of 2-1 after action this week, 27 innings pitched, ERA of 1.33. That went down this week. Also a whip of 0.96, down from 1.0 a week ago. He's struck out 19, 3 saves, 5 holds on the season, issuing just 8 bases on balls. So congratulations. Once again, we've got a Heritage High School grad and a Northside High School grad.
Making Fort Wayne proud.
That's right. That is right indeed. So congratulations to them. On this date in Fort Wayne sports history, Blake Sebring's book. On September 20th in 2000, Fort Wayne's first National Hockey League player, Fred Knipscher, retires from hockey. After suffering 3 concussions in 3 months, Knipscher decided to hang up his skates after a 7-year professional career. He played his last NHL game in 1996 and spent the next 4 seasons in the American Hockey League and the International Hockey League. His best season came in 1997-98. He led the Utah Grizzlies, 21 goals, 53 points in 58 games. Finished his career by playing 8 games with the Cincinnati Cyclones. Also in 1998, the Comets signed Pokey Reddick for the 3rd time. And also in 1991, the Wayne Generals beat Snyder in football for the first time since 1975. And those are your events for this day in Fort Wayne sports history, September 20th. And that is all according to Blake Sebring's book by the same name. I think what we're going to do now is perhaps go to the Talkin Sports phone line powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because on that Talkin Sports phone line is none other than one Mr. Justin Kenny. Justin, good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
We are stellar this morning.
Stellar?
Stellar. Oh, yeah, better than good. Better than good. Well, yeah, Beast going, I don't know. I've got this cold. I didn't want to do that to you. So, hey, week 5 of the high school football season is in the history books. And let's just start out with the Summit Athletic Conference. And last night, the Snyder Panthers hosted the Carroll Chargers in what was supposed to be a hotly contested game. Well, Mr. Gabe Freisinger and Jaden Van Pelt said, and Mr. Shealy said, not so fast. No, My goodness. Van Pelt, 13 catches, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. Freisinger, 27 of 34, 363, 5 TDs on the night. My goodness gracious.
It was an absolute clinic last night by the Carroll Chargers, particularly offensively. And we kind of had some concerns about the Snyder defense. I mean, right off the start when they really struggled to stop the rushing attack of Warsaw in week 1. But then again, we looked at that and said, man, Warsaw is extremely tough. And then they go to East Noble and struggled. But then they got back on track, shutting out Bishop Luers and beating Wayne. We thought, okay, this is going to be a really good litmus test of where Snyder is in the SAC. And it wasn't good for the Panthers. Their worst loss in conference since a 35-0 loss to Bishop Dwenger way back in 1973. The worst margin of defeat overall for the Snyder Panthers since 2013, a 38-0 loss to Penn, guys. So this was just a brutal night for Snyder Nation, and Carroll just thoroughly dominated the Panthers over at Spohler Stadium. So eye-opening in a lot of ways. You mentioned Gabe Freisinger, a huge night, Jaden Van Pelt as well, but also a very much an eyebrow raiser for the Snyder Panthers. And we had our suspicions that this wasn't a traditional, normal Snyder team, but we really saw it last night.
Yes, indeed. And a bright spot for the Panthers was Jordan Davis, had over 140 yards rushing and a touchdown. And but that's about all she wrote there. But I mean, you look at it this way, okay, you look at the A division, the big division of the Summit Athletic Conference, and we've got one team, which we'll talk about shortly, that is unblemished at 3-0, and everyone else 2-1 in the conference this year, including Snyder and Carroll.
It is very much a logjam atop the SAC. With Bishop Dwenger, the lone undefeated, just 3 games into the conference season. So everybody chasing the Saints as of right now.
That's right, and they were victorious at Shields Field last night over the Homestead Spartans by a score of 15-3. And of course, what everybody was worried about initially when they saw that score was, oh my goodness, that wasn't 5 field goals, was it?
No, it wasn't Lucas Nguyen having to kick 5 field goals for the Saints, but Bishop Dwenger gets the win, outgained Homestead 264-14. When's the last time Homestead had 14 yards of total offense, including negative 14 rushing yards, just 4 first downs? A.J. Shefferly, a touchdown run for Bishop Dwenger. And so you look at Bishop Dwenger right now. Henry Jordan threw a touchdown. Bishop Dwenger, guys, 4 games against teams from the state of Indiana. Remember, they played St. Francis de Sales in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
But in those 4 games have allowed a total of 12 points. Roncalli, 3 points. Carroll, 6 points. Homestead, 3 points. Wayne, 0 points. That Bishop Dwenger defense is absolutely smothering, and it's leading the way for the Saints as they have a very, very interesting game coming up at Spooler next week against Northrop.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's the high-powered Northrop offense versus that staunch Dwenger defense. So it should be an interesting matchup there with everything considered. A couple of the other scores from around the SAC last night. Bishop Luers over Northside 31-28. Not one, but 2 overtimes. And my goodness, I mean, during the actual game itself, well, then into OT, but Jaden Rivers to Malik Moore 4 times for touchdowns. And but it was a young kid named Kraus that kicked the game-winning field goal in the second overtime for Bishop Luers to give that margin of victory to the Knights, and they are now sitting atop the B division with a 2-1 record.
Now, I know it was an exciting game on the field last night, but the real stars at Luers Field last night was one Justin Kenny and Mike McCaffrey in the concession stand. And especially Mike McCaffrey taking control at the helm and helping run all the cards and taps and everything. So just a stellar job by Mike McCaffrey last night. I mean, there was the Luers Field was abuzz with the efforts of Mike McCaffrey in the concession stand. But
Justin, yeah, take heart because this isn't Mike's first concession rodeo.
No way.
No, he and his wife are experienced concessionaires. I know at the elementary school level, they were the ones that were running the show at, the Precious Blood concessions. I mean, for the musicals, for every event that was going on, they were there. And, oh, my goodness. And they would have little specials, little blue light specials going on. And just while supplies last, they had their finger on the pulse of what their inventory was. And, don't let them fool you. I know. I walked up to the concession stand 2 weeks ago and asked him, I said, do I have to buy a packet of Skittles just to ask you a question? and he pushes 2 towards me. So.
And I bet they were purple Skittles because Mike McCaffrey's a big fan of the wild berry Skittles. Just tell you that he was upselling those last night. But yeah, on the field, tremendous night for Bishop Luers. They honored their 1985 state championship team last night. It was homecoming. But Brady Krause comes through, the sophomore, with a 26-yard field goal in the second overtime to get the win. And you mentioned Jaden Rivers and Malik Moore, now 9 touchdown connections in the last 2 weeks between those two guys. Bishop Luers was able to get up 14-0 and return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, but Northside came storming back, and this game went into OT and traded touchdowns before Bishop Luers was able to get the stop, missed field goal for Northside, and then Bishop Luers converts on their possession in the second OT. It's a big win for Bishop Luers. We talk about teams that maybe aren't their traditional power. We talked about Snyder. I think Bishop Luers, saw them through the first 3 games, 0-3. It's a very young team at the skill position spots, really veteran team up front, and they've started to figure it out. They get the win, avenging the big win, particularly in that B division. The Bishop Luers saying, hey, we're going to still all efforts to own this B division. We may not be SAC title contenders this year, but we're making strides, and we hope to be really feeling good. An old adage by coaches is, hey, sophomores are juniors by the time the playoffs start, and that's what Bishop Luers is counting on. the second half of the season and heading into the 3A playoffs.
Oh, they've got a big selection of sophomores that are playing varsity minutes and in skill positions as well. So, the future looks bright for the Bishop Luers Knights for sure. Northrop over Concordia 47-6. Quay Guilford 3 touchdowns. Can't say that we didn't see this coming. I mean, Concordia struggling with numbers as opposed to Northrop getting a resurgence in the program, and David Callis and company are just once again like Northside. So many skill position players that shine on a Friday night.
I don't know what the better connection in the city is, guys. I don't know if it's the Jaden Rivers, Malik Moore connection over at Northside or the David Callis and Jerquaden Guilford connection over at Northrop, but it was in full effect again last night at Zollner Stadium. You look ahead now, guys, to Northrop's schedule. They get Bishop DeWenger coming up next Friday, which is a huge game. And then you look ahead 1 week against Snyder, and we all know the drought in which Northrop has been on against Snyder. Haven't beat the Panthers since 1999. I think it's something like 28 straight losses to the Snyder Panthers.
On their own turf.
Could this be the year? Yeah. Could this be the year, fellas, that the drought ends? And I don't want to look too far ahead, but you look at the trajectories of Northrop and Snyder, and this could be the year. So when we look at rivalry week in the SAC in Week 7, who's to say that game isn't the big one in the city for the Bruins looking to end the streak against Snyder?
Yes, indeed. And another game in the Summit Athletic Conference to talk about. The Southside Archers get the shutout. And, D.C. Hendricks is wearing his shutout shirt this morning. 46-0 over the Wayne Generals. Chris Mahoon, 307 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns.
It was a epic night for Chris Moon last night. He broke the single-game rushing record at Southside. I thought it was held by D.C. Hendricks. My mistake. It was actually Lamar Smith in the 1989 season. Lamar ran for 275 yards in a single game back then. It was Chris Moon eclipsing that record last night. So congratulations to Chris Moon and the Southside Archers. They get their first win of the season last night at Wayne Stadium against the Generals.
Just to give you an update, Justin, I had 274. So, yeah, my record was broken.
Man, so close. I knew it was a magical night for you, but I couldn't remember the exact yardage.
And he just barely got eclipsed by a guy that played for the New Orleans Saints. Okay, yeah. All right. Hey, heading over to the
what could have been, guys. You know, what could have been.
Oh, right, yeah.
If he eclipses that record, who knows where D.C. is now. As opposed to hanging out with us on Saturday morning.
And just think, if there would have been NIL money for him back then, too. Just think. Oh, my goodness. On to the Northeast 8 Conference. And the big one, the one that you heard right here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, up in Kendallville, the East Noble Knights over the Leo Lions, 56-40. Freshman Austin Phillips, 158 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they set the tone early. And it seemed like whenever the Lions would counterpunch, as would the Knights again, and it was just it was one of those things that it was tough. Once they got that 21-7, 28-7 lead, and then it was just back and forth, it seemed like. And the Lions, every time they'd answer, so would the Knights.
It was difficult for Leo to really keep up on the scoreboard, and a key part of that was Leo turning the ball over 3 times in the red zone. And all 3 came in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. 2 fumbles and a turnover on downs. Mm-hmm. Who knows where this game is at? They may still be playing at this point if they didn't turn over the ball over 3 times. But you mentioned Austin Phillips, the big night, including a 93-yard touchdown run, the star freshman for East Noble. Riley Biddle over 300 yards passing. Alex Scott, 8 receptions, 224 yards, and a touchdown. Nathan Foster, even in a losing effort, 252 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns. East Noble's now won 3 straight in this rivalry. It's the most points for East Noble against Leo in history, and the 96 points, the most points in this rivalry ever. East Noble takes round one, as has become customary in recent years. These two teams very well could meet in round two in sectional play. And what really is shaping up, guys, to be just an amazing sectional 19 when you look at East Noble and you look at Dwenger, and we'll talk about DeKalb here in a second, and Leo, and so there's a lot of heavy hitters in that sectional 19, as there traditionally always is.
How about those DeKalb Barons taking a 28-7 decision over Columbia City? And this is notoriously or historically for the Eagles been through the first 5 weeks of the season that they would pretty much run the table.
They would, and you look at this, and we felt, okay, the North would win to start the season. Columbia City is getting that early season test to know exactly where they're at, and earlier than we usually are accustomed to. But Columbia City was able to run the ball all over opponents in the first 3 weeks, yet the last 2 weeks they've really struggled. And it's pretty obvious that if that can't run the football, it's going to have some problems. And defensively, it had problems with the DeKalb offense last night. Eli McCormick, 279 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 3 of those going to Xavier Bell. Noah Spears and Bo Meinhardt also touchdown receptions for the DeKalb Barons. And this was a team that people in preseason would say, hey, watch out for DeKalb. And we've kind of heard that in recent years, right? And we're just kind of, hey, okay, that's cute. But Ryan Robertson just has done a tremendous job in year one with the Barons, brought over a fair amount of guys from East Noble to help him on that coaching staff. They beat Garrett. They played East Noble tough last week, had them down late, and then they dominate Columbia City on the road last night. So this is a DeKalb team that is very, very good and maybe laying the groundwork, the foundation for DeKalb to be a factor in the NE8 for on an annual basis, which would be great to see.
Yes, it would, yes. And a couple other scores across the NE8 last night at Huntington North over Belmont, 42-12. New Haven gets their first win of the season with a 45-14 decision over the Norwell Knights. And moving on to the Allen County Athletic Conference, Justin, and holy cow, the Heritage Patriots came close to doing it. It was Adams Central winning this game over the Heritage Patriots 14-7, but the Flying Jets were in a dogfight.
They were. It came down to the final few minutes of the fourth quarter. Vance Miller, a 27-yard touchdown run for Adams Central that proved to be the winning points. And credit to Heritage playing the Flying Jets tough. Lucas Weber with a huge night. On the ground, 133 yards rushing and a touchdown. Jamison Roach was big for Adams Central, a touchdown pass to Braylon Reber, and that aforementioned touchdown by Vance Miller. I think, if anything, guys, this kind of raises the eyebrows in the ACAC as we go down the stretch, and usually by this time we're saying, okay, Adams Central is going to roll through the league. They get South Adams next week. They get at Bluffton in week 8, and all of a sudden you're looking at those two games in particular and saying, could somebody have a chance to knock off the Flying Jets? We'll see in the coming weeks.
Well, yeah, and let's talk about the Bluffton Tigers, a 40-0 winner over Jay County last night. Bluffton now 3-0 in ACAC play, 5-0 overall, much like the Adams Central Flying Jets, and who knows, is this a collision course? Although next week, Bluffton has to take on that pesky Southern Wells Raiders team.
How about Southern Wells, guys? 2-0 in the ACAC for the first time since 2010. And we gave them a shot maybe last week to get a win, or at least over Adams Central, Jay County a couple weeks ago. But, Woodland, that took us completely off guard with what Southern Wells was able to do last night. So congratulations to Blake Blaker and that Raiders team and getting some momentum. They have to go to Bluffton next week with Axton Best. Had a near perfect night passing, 14 of 15, 159 yards, and a touchdown pass. Cooper Craig and Kamel Moore with 2 touchdown runs each. That's the 4th straight game of 40-plus points for the Bluffton Tigers for the first time in program history, a program that dates back to 1920. So that offense really humming along for Bluffton. They'll get Southern Wells and Heritage the next 2 weeks before what's shaping up to be a big one with the Flying Jets coming to town in Week 8.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the Tigers 200 points through 5 weeks of the season, and it's just a great opportunity there to make something happen in the ACAC. The other score, the score that was not a conference game last night, had the South Adams Starfires beating Blackhawk Christian 49-6, and once again, Mr. Lehman had a night.
He did. It's the same old for South Adams, rinse and repeat. But Titus Lehman, 272 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 each to West Somerset and Derek McKean. South Adams continues to roll as they have a game coming up against Adams Central in Monroe next week, and we'll see if the Starfires, similar to what they did against Bluffton, guys, that 44-41 loss in Week 3, that was really close. I mean, could South Adams make this a shootout next week and have a shot to knock off their rival Adams Central? We'll have to see.
It's interesting with Titus Lehman. He threw for 270-plus yards last night, and you look at it and you go, yeah, but he threw for more the week before. Oh,
you kind of like shrug and you kind of like, well, what's wrong with the passing offense in South Adams?
Oh, my goodness. Moving on to the NECC. Some interesting matchups last night. West Noble over Fairfield, 41-14. West Noble now 4-1 overall, but 2-0 in Northeast Corner Big School Division play.
Yeah, West Noble going to bounce us back in fine form with the win last night, and it was once again on the ground. Brogan Parks, 14 rushes, 96 yards, a couple touchdowns. Mikhail Bottles, a couple touchdown receptions for West Noble. And since that close loss on the road to Eastside, they've begun their division portion of the schedule with back-to-back wins over Angola and Fairfield. So West Noble back on track. They'll go to Garrett next week that took a hard loss last night to Eastside.
Yes, 36-0 Blazers over the Railroaders in the Battle of the Train or what, something like that.
The train, yeah, the train trophy.
Yes,
that they battled for. So this was a tough game last night for Garrett, and you felt like they were going to be able to hang and make this a game. But Joe Bridgman, another huge night last night, the quarterback for Eastside, 102 yards rushing and a touchdown. He threw for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns, and complete demolition by the Blazers last night of the Railroaders.
And, of course, the team that now sits atop the small school division, the Cherubusco Eagles, over Prairie Heights last night, 39-12, and a couple other scores had Lakeland 33, Angola 27, and Fremont better than Central Noble by a score of 40-22. Justin, thank you so much for joining us each and every Saturday morning. And, of course, your OutsideTheHuddle.net is one of the preeminent high school football sites to glean information each and every week, updated very quickly, and it's just a plethora of information for the high school football fan and basketball fan.
Yeah, it's always ongoing, always something going on at the site, so check it out, OutsideTheHuddle.net. So appreciate it, fellas. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk, week 6 next week? We just keep moving along, don't we?
All right, we will do that. Thank you, Justin. Have a great day.
Buddy. Take care, guys.
All right. That was Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. I wonder, now you said he worked the concession stand with Mike McCaffrey last night. I wonder if he got snow cone juice all over his hands or anything like that.
Might have to ask McCaffrey.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, we'll do that. But Mike was probably too busy selling stuff.
Probably.
To notice.
But that's something he would know.
Now, one guy that's hiding in the corner behind those buckets, yeah. Shouldn't he be working? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, he's on his phone. Okay. Well, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead, step out, take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Mike McCaffrey. We'll talk to him about more than just concession stands. We'll do that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. On 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Are you ready to embrace a new opportunity? Do you get fulfillment out of helping others? Are you a self-starter who loves to make your own schedule and can still work well with others? Maybe you're someone who needs a career with flexible PTO, the flexibility to take the time off when you need to and how often you need to, and are still able to perform your job at the highest level. If this sounds like a fit, we'd love to hear from you. Email your resume to salescareers@federatedmedia.com or text talent to 45364. Federated Media is an equal opportunity employer.
When it comes to building a lake home, every inch counts. That's why families turn to Hammond Homes, Northeast Indiana's premier custom home builder. Lake lots are tighter. The views matter. The layout has to be flawless. And that takes precision, experience, and perfect communication, which is exactly what Hammond Homes delivers. For over 45 years, Al Hammond and his team have been crafting one-of-a-kind luxury homes, from cozy lake cottages to stunning waterfront escapes and everything in between. As a full design build firm, they handle everything in the house, from architecture to interior design. You'll be able to preview your home in 2D and 3D before a single board is cut. And if you're not building new, they also specialize in transformations, from kitchens to bathrooms, bringing new life to your old existing space. So whether you're dreaming big or building small, trust Hammond Homes to get it done. On time, on budget, and beyond expectations, it's Hammond Homes. Find them online at hammond-homes.com.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell & Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 110 East Wayne, Fort Wayne.
For over 40 years, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing has been a
a family-owned business built on professionalism, trust, and quality. As your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Gibson's is nationally recognized for excellence and locally known for being customer loved. You'll see it in their work. You'll read it in the nearly 3,000 Google reviews. You'll experience it when they take care of your home. When you contact independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, GibsonsHeating.com. That's GibsonsHeating.com.
Now back to Talkin' Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin' Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. That's DC Hendricks over there. I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. You have a question, comment, want to be part of the show, you can do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. And we'll take a look and see if we can't get that question, comment, etc. on for you as well. And let's go right to the Talkin' Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because waiting there patiently is, according to Justin Kinney, one of the preeminent concession stand managers in the contiguous 48 states, Mr. Mike McCaffrey. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning, Jimmy. How are you, my friend?
I am great, but DC and I had a question right off the bat. We were wondering, did Justin do anything last night? He said he was in the concession stand with you, and he marveled at your prowess. And what we understood was that he was hiding behind some buckets of like seeds or something on his phone.
Oh, man, I tell you, so everybody's got a little role in the concession stand, right? So you have to know your place, and we've got, our man Shane over doing the popcorn, and we've got someone assigned to pizza and nachos, and Justin's role was to basically get the drinks out of the cooler. But there was a time there in the middle of the second quarter where there was a huge panic that set in because we were going through drinks so fast, and Justin was over there refilling that cooler with new water and new soda and all the things that we needed to. And I did look one time, and I thought, because the Kona Ice, it was homecoming, so they had all these food trucks, and the Kona Ice food truck was right outside of our concession stand parked, and I thought that Justin was over there getting a snow cone. But it turns out he was just being mobbed by all of his fans and signing autographs for everyone, with his outside the huddle and his OPS prowess here in Fort Wayne. So he did take a few minutes to be the man of the people that he is. But other than that, he was a machine funneling those drinks back and forth, I got to be honest.
Okay, well, and we were also wondering if he had, stained hands from the snow cone juice maybe or something like that.
Yeah, there might have been a little bit of it. Like I said, he disappeared for a minute, and then I don't know where he was, and he may or may not have come back with snow cone juice somewhere on his shirt or shorts. So I can't confirm nor deny.
He leaves that building and grossly underestimates his fan, attraction. And so, there you go. Live and learn. But
he's a man of the people, I tell you. He brings a crowd to the concession stand. Everyone comes just to see Justin Kenny and have them handle their Powerade.
Well, that's what he tells us too. Yeah. So. Hey, Mike.
It was a good night at Bishop Lures, and they got the win, so it was a fun one. And I said to Justin, the first touchdown they scored was, I think Lures scored right off the bat, first play or second play. And I said, well, Justin, at least tomorrow you can tell them you heard the first touchdown from the concession stand. You may not have seen it, but we know they scored.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, and my grandson Caleb was producing.
Had his headsets on, came down to the concession stand pregame and halftime, but he had his headsets on, ready to go up and do some film work.
Oh yeah. He's and he just ran at West Noble this morning already, and he said he's listening. So.
All right.
That's always a plus. But after a nice 5K run. But, hey.
Better him than me.
Me too, yeah. Cougars, whitewash of the Lawrence Tech team last Saturday, 35-0 in football. But before I get to that, who is Nate Conley?
Yeah, when this whole thing kind of went down a month or so ago when Chad Lacrosse came into my office and told me he was going to retire, which, God bless him and then everything he's done for us. And I think I said at the time, sad for our program, but super happy for him. And went into the process of opening it up and had a lot of really good applicants and did a lot of interviews and talked to a whole lot of people, some I solicited, some unsolicited, as it goes in this process. But, when we got Nate Conley on campus, he has this infectious kind of passion about him. And you sit in a room with him and you talk to him and you can't help but buy into what his vision is. And I think with all the people he met around campus and all the people in the community that support him already, I'm excited. He's got some work to do. We're I don't know where we're going to finish this year, but as I told him, I said 25, 26 is fun, but this vision and then what he's trying to do and what we need him to do is to come in and really look towards the next 3, 4, 5 years and really build us back up to kind of where we were when we were at the top of the Crossroads League and battling with the Wesleyans and the Graces and, coming off a national tournament appearance. So obviously some success last year and a lot of new faces this year. We've only got a couple returners from last year's team, lost some guys to Division I, and then a couple graduates and a couple other transfers. So it's a new team, and that's kind of, why we also maybe felt as a university and leadership that maybe this was the right time to bring in a guy like Nate Conley, who's, kind of a fresh face for us, but has a lot of experience at the college level and is a Fort Wayne guy, went to Bishop Dwenger High School. So very rooted in the community, very, very well known. Like I said, a lot of people in the community reached out in support of him, and I've heard from a lot since we made the announcement that are super excited, and we're excited. So he's going to be on board and working with our assistant coach, Luke Cummings, who's done a great job holding down the fort for us during this transition, and going to stay on the staff and be a part of what we're doing here going forward. So super excited to have both of them here and able to go out and represent St. Francis basketball.
Oh, that's great. Yes, and social media was very, very energized by the naming of Nate Conley as the head men's basketball coach. That's for sure. That's what I saw, bar none. It was full steam ahead. So, and it's great to hear, too, that Luke is going to be around, too, because Luke's an asset to any program he's involved with. So, just one of those things. But now on to the football team. Holy cow! 35-0 victory over Lawrence Tech last Saturday on the road. Josh Kolka, ho-hum, 16-31, 197, 3 touchdowns. Drew Wheat, 22 carries, 175 yards and a touchdown. Also caught a couple of passes for 10 yards. He was among 9 receivers to catch a Josh Kolka pass last week, and that kind of tells you something right there.
Yeah, it was a much different game than the first 2 we played because we started strong. I think their first offensive possession, we hold them to a punt. Christian Peterson, one of our first-year redshirt kids, comes off the corner on a punt block and actually blocks the punt. It rolls all the way down inside the 5-yard line. He scoops it up, gets it in for a touchdown. So we're up 7-0 before Kolka even had to get on the field. Drew Wheat is an absolute monster. He was so good, and the commitment to the run game and our big boys up front opening holes for him. And Lawrence Tech, I was watching the game here, and the Lawrence Tech announcers were talking about just how much bigger our offensive line is than their defensive line. Lawrence Tech's a very young team, a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and they knew they were up against a tough opponent, but did what we had to do and really controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. Defensively, Marquise Cross and Nate Johnson and A.J. Moore, they got after the Lawrence Tech quarterback, and after the first series or two really settled in and kept giving our offense opportunities. And Josh didn't have to do a ton because he just kept getting handed off to Drew Wheat and probably had a couple other touchdown opportunities that just missed deep. But he was chucking it. And the guys, Crosley McKeechin had a big catch in the first half to kind of keep our momentum going. And then Josh did what he does and spreads the ball around. As you said, 9 different guys catching passes. And it was an all-around great effort. All 3 phases did what they had to do. And when you do that, it was good to see the team start strong because that's something we hadn't done the first 2 weeks. So it was it was fun to watch and then finish it off and finish out the shutout. So I know Nate Jensen and his guys on that side of the ball are always excited when you can put up a 0 and come back. And now we get a week off and get ready to play Defiance next week at homecoming. So rest up, get some injuries healed up this week with no game, let some other teams play and shake it out. But we're excited to be coming off of that and coming back home to play in front of the home crowd again.
Yes, and for my own public address information, who scored the first Cougar touchdown?
Ever?
Efialua Adoba. Help me.
Ifeanyi Adeobi.
Bless you. What?
Ife.
Oh.
Ife. We just call him Ife.
Okay, Ife. That's better. Okay, that's
Pike
easy.
Pike High School from our guy Mike Brevard down there coaching Pike High School, and was the MVP of the All-Star game not too long ago, and super excited. Obviously, if a freshman can come in and have that kind of impact right away, it's fun and exciting, and he's going to be really good for us for a long time.
Yes, indeed. He made the recovery. Yes, and you mentioned Defiance College next Saturday at Darcy Stadium to take on the Cougars. If you haven't been out to a Cougar game, get out there. I know D.C. Hendricks is going to get out there too and get back into.
It's been way too long. Like it's been like
Agreed.
5 years.
There you go.
Well, because I moved away
right
for a little bit, so that counts.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to be there next week.
Well, you're home now.
I am.
And
I'm back home.
Yeah,
Let's go.
out. Come on out, and if you tailgate, I'll come over to your tailgate after the game.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So that was easy. So, Mike, as far as the other fall sports, and I know we've got some other highlights as well with you got volleyball going on, soccer going on, and what do we got going on in the news?
Yeah, cross country taking off this weekend, and they're running over at PFW, and then soccer plays tonight. We've got one more week. Next weekend, we get really into the Crossroads League. Men's team went up and dropped one at Holy Cross earlier this week, but the women's team is still playing well and then still pitching shutouts, and we're excited to get into the Crossroads League play. A lot of ranked teams in our conference, so we're gonna be tested here over the next 3 or 4 weeks and see just how good our soccer teams are. But been playing well, playing controlled, and Ken Newber and Mamba Chisoni are doing a great job with those two squads. Coach Haddix is trying to compete in another tough conference in volleyball and trying to get that first conference win. Played a tough one against Grace the other night, came up a little short, but they're battling, and sometimes going into some of these volleyball matches a little outmanned due to either injuries or just youth, and going through those things in the conference like the Crossroads League is not always easy. So super proud of everybody right now. They're all battling. They're all representing the university well. They're doing what they can do. They're killing it in the classroom. So it's been a good start to the year so far. We're about a month in and humming along. And as we said, basketball practice started on Monday. So now all of our sports are officially conducting practices or playing competitions, and softball and baseball are getting some fall games in. And I think softball heads up to Notre Dame in a few weeks for that fun little trip that we get to take in the fall and play a couple games up in Notre Dame. I think we're playing Notre Dame and Mercyhurst this year in softball, so it'll be a fun trip up to South Bend.
Okay, a lot of excitement around the University of St. Francis athletic department right now with a new coach, the football team hitting on all cylinders, and the fall sports going strong. And, won't be long before hoops will have scheduled games either. So sounds like fun. Well, Mike, thank you so much. And do you have any concession dates on the calendar this week, or are you just gonna relax and wait for the next weekend?
Well, I've got an event next Friday, so we've got our Hall of Alumni Awards next Friday. So I don't know if Lures is home next Friday. If they are, then my wife will be probably flying that one solo. But I know that we're gearing up and making sure that we've got the staff ready for the Battle of the Bishops, because from what I understand, as a concession worker, you're going to get tested that night because the crowds are fast and furious. So we better be on our A game and have that operation running smoothly for the Battle of the Bishops. So that's the next big event on the radar.
Yeah, well, I will just stand back and stay away. That's for sure. Okay, Mike, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
All right, appreciate it, Jim. Have a great weekend.
All right. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar chat. Ever worked a concession stand, DC?
Yeah, I worked at Southside's concession stand a couple of times.
Okay. The most recent one I think I worked at was when the Leo baseball team had to work the concession stand for basketball at Leo High School. And, and there again, everybody's got roles.
Yep.
I was hot dog boy.
That was the same position I had.
Yeah. And, it was harder than what I thought it would be.
I took offense to that.
Well.
Like out of all places, you put me in the food. Yeah. I'm a big guy, so I was offended.
Yeah, something about when I was there, they broke even. I don't know, but didn't make money. But those hot dogs were good.
Yeah, they were complaining about hot dogs disappearing when I worked the concession stand. I don't know what happened to them.
Well, they were watching me eating them, so they knew where these were going. So,
yeah, I've worked Elmhurst Little League concession stand a couple of times as well.
Okay. So. Well, I tell you what, many years ago, this would have been in the early 1990s, I was the president at St. Joe Little League, St. Joe American, St. Joe National Little League. We had about 1,100 families all together. Anyway, my daughter at the time was about 6 or 7 years old. And the lady that ran the concession stand, her name was Ramona Harbor, the sweetest lady in the world, and she ran that concession stand, well, just like a business. And it was. It was one of the greatest fundraisers we had. And, she was impeccable with everything. And my little princess daughter, Melissa, would walk up the window and say, yes, my dad is Jim, the president, and could I have a slushie? And she would negotiate. Well, she would think she was getting free food. Mm-hmm. But I would tell Ramona, I said, listen, just jot down what she takes, and I'll pay for it later.
Right.
And so, yeah. And because nobody else, kids got free food, know. So, but my little princess.
Love how she added, my dad's the president.
She did. So. She did. Yeah. She thought that was just a little extra added oomph, and sure enough, Ramona made it look like she was getting free food. But I think she still tries that from time to time. But anyway, hey, let's go take a break and then come back and finish out the show. How about that? Okay, we're going to step out, take a break. We'll be right back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Now on My Deals Fort Wayne, you can get 3 certificates to Davy's Delicious Bagels for only $15. Specializing in steamed bagel sandwiches unlike anything else in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Davy's Delicious Bagels is a one-of-a-kind experience. They have breakfast sandwiches, sweet bagels, lunch specialties, and of course, more bagels than you could ever imagine. They even have delicious specialty coffees, teas, and more. Every weekend, Davy's will be open late for those midnight munchies. Head over to MyDealsFortWayne.com to purchase your deal.
Customers come first at Quality Supply and Tool and have for over 25 years. The family owned and experts in concrete and masonry, building materials, and sales and repair of industrial grade tools. Quality Supply and Tool has locations in Jeffersonville, Bloomington, Indianapolis, and...
We're growing again. Nick Worley here from Quality Supply and Tool. We've moved into the Lafayette area, bringing with us the same quality you've come to expect from our other Indiana locations. At 3515 Coleman Court, let Quality Supply and Tool put some quality in your next project, Lafayette.
Partner with Quality Supply and Tool and think outside the box. Store.
Boiler up and hail Purdue.
The Boilermakers pick it up, and Wilhelm has a touchdown.
Led by new head coach Barry Odom.
Makes a catch at the 30. He's at the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10.
Don't miss a single moment all season long.
With the touchdown catch.
The Boilermakers travel to Notre Dame. Join us live this Saturday. Our coverage begins at 2:30 right here on your home for Boilermakers football. The Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield. Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until, well, about the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And DC got a text from my stepdaughter who said, I heard you on the radio.
There you go.
Yeah, Giada McCoy. She's at work. at Parkview.
Nice.
Yeah, and so she's listening this morning, and even gave me an "I hear you" with a smiley face. I should probably, she'll, and knowing her, she'll give me something else that she goes, well, if he's repeating everything I write down, we'll watch this. So
read
anyway,
this one.
So yeah, she works 12-hour shifts and all that stuff. Pretty proud of her. Anyway, don't tell her I said that though. Yeah, my old buddy Giada. Anyway, week 5 of the high school football season in the books. Now you were at Northrop?
I was at Shields Field.
Or you were at Shields? Yeah, that's right. Dwenger Homestead. Yeah.
Yep.
And thoughts on that last night? I mean, that Dwenger defense, obviously, they've given up 9 points in the last 3 games, 3 conference games.
In addition to Northrop's offense, that tandem of David Callison and Quay Guilford, in addition to Northside's tandem as well, Jaden Rivers and
Malik Moore, yeah.
On the opposite side of the ball, I think Bishop Dwenger is the talk not only of the town, but at some point we need to start talking about the state. You got to look at they've played 4 in-state teams, and they've allowed 6 points.
Yeah.
That's
and by the way, and if we're talking about these pitch-catch combinations of Rivers and Malik Moore and all, you got to remember Gabe Freisinger and Jaden Van Pelt too at Carroll.
Absolutely.
But and we've got an abundance of outstanding, quarterback receiver combinations this year that are going to be fun to watch and can be explosive and score from anywhere on the field.
Yeah.
But
until this week, East Noble was in that defensive conversation too, but Leo ended up pouring it on eventually. Nathan Foster finally started catching, and East Noble's defense finally allowed some points.
And East Noble giving up 14 to DeKalb last week when they hadn't given up much of anything whatsoever prior to that. So right not saying that they're coming back to earth because they just score more. And they've got, once again, just like last year with Dylan Carell and all those guys, and Plattner, so many weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just incredible. And so many weapons named Phillips.
Yeah.
They got multiples. Yeah.
I still can't believe Austin's only a freshman. That is going to be scary.
6'2", 200.
He's going to be scary.
And his brother's a junior. So, I mean, in what I saw quote in the paper this morning, Riley Biddle, senior quarterback, Mr. Do Everything, says, hey, he said, this kid is a freshman, but he's got more than a freshman football IQ. He's fun to be around. So that's just going to bode well for the Knights as they come through 4A. Hey, that's going to do it for Talkin Sports for his Saturday, September 20th. Many, many thanks to Mr. Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net for giving us his assessment on Week 5 of the high school football season. Thanks to Mike McCaffrey, athletic director, concessionaire, and overall nice guy, joining us too as well to give us our Cougar update. And thanks to DC Hendricks as always for giving us the great rejoin music, keeping it all smooth, and giving his wisdom as well to the listeners every single Saturday morning. Thanks to you, the listener. We love that too. So until next week, have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.